So drivers now lining up for the start of this race. So 3, 4, 5 lights, and they are off for the start of the F1 2017 German Grand Prix at Hockenheim. Bas de Breen leads the way, Nicky Visser behind him, Boy Williamson is in third, Stan Drunkov stays in third, but Bas de Breen is going off track there. Oh my goodness, and Guido Ehrschein is already out. Oh my goodness, what happened? However, on the plus side, it might be that Guido will be able to come in and assist with the commentary this evening. As I say, as you can probably tell, I'm not on top form this evening. So, unfortunately, his loss could well be our gain, but sad to certainly see him go out so early in the race. But Mark Strappers, he's moved up a couple of places. Sander Hermans, well, he's moved up quite a few as well. He's moved up 6 places. Just wanted to mention, I mean, Stan's done a great result here for a new driver to F1 tonight. Did have provisional pole in Q2 for a little while, but then went down to P4. But a good show for him. But interestingly, he's the only driver out on track on softs at the moment, and Jerome Portman's actually on the medium tyres. So clearly they're looking to go in a lot deeper. But we are expecting rain during the course of this race. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out for those 2 drivers. But Stan Drunkov on the softs at this moment, I'd say, has a bit of an advantage really, going around sector 3. But Nicky Visser's looking super fast and looks as if he might be able to take that P1 from Bas de Breen on track at the moment.
Yeah, I'm looking a bit further down. There's Sander Hermans also in the fight. Oh, he almost lost the car on the outside there. And
and he's going wide there, and your teammate Marcel Dronig right behind him.
So that looks like a fun little battle there.
And Sander going wide again. Sander, I mean, to be fair, Sander, I think this is only his third race.
Third race, mind you, he has a controller. He is very fast. But then it's going to be how the tires will react to his steering with the controller, and well, in the long run, you know, these 100% races are just a bit different than 50 or 25%, because you know. And
Marcel is actually taking that position from him before they get down. I think it's to turn 6. Yes, it is. So Marcel takes the place. Well, indeed. And Mark Strappers, just to remind everyone, is the only driver in F1 tonight that races without any assists at all. And just to make it that little bit more difficult, actually races in cockpit view as well. The midfield battles happening here now for P7 as Marcel France is closing in on the back of the Red Bull of Martin Pardagupa. But as you say, your teammate Marcel Dronig not too far behind at this moment in time. Interesting to know.
These 2 fighting, and then probably the third one's going to get away with it.
Well, that's normally what happens. What you normally see is that the front 2 competing, something goes wrong, they make an error, and then the guy that's behind takes full advantage. And Marcel nearly taking advantage there, but Marcel France is going so wide out of those corners. It suggests to me that he's got quite low downforce, because certainly on the rear of the car, because he's really going quite wide into some of these corners.
Maybe he's just pushing the cues, and maybe he just burned
Stan
up his
Drunkov
tires.
now, sorry to interrupt, but Stan Drunkov making the move on Boy Williamson and actually taking the place from him. Fantastic move there. This guy, and I can see the rain is just starting to come down now, so there is light rain coming down. Sander Hermans picks up a 3-second time penalty, but that was a great move from Stan Drunkov there on the Haas of Boy Williamson.
So if it starts to rain, then everybody's going to pit in, and then Bas already has pitted twice.
The rain is definitely coming down. It's Marcel France in a Toro Rosso, but you can see just in the background there, Peter Phillips and Bas de Breen as well. So they're both fighting it out as they come around turn 6, and Bas moves ahead of Peter Phillips out of turn 6. He's now closing down on Marcel Droning. So Marcel is going to be seeing those red chevrons indicating that he's got that Ferrari right behind him as they're coming into sector 3 now. And this could be very, very tricky indeed, as these conditions are definitely starting to get wetter. We've still got a dry racing line, so not too much of a problem there. And look at that, Marcel's so close to the back of Marcel France and the Toro Rosso there as they're coming round turn 15 into 16. And Marcel France weaving a little bit there.
It's going to be slippery.
The racing line's still not looking too bad. It's Bas going off the racing line. That's going to be tricky for him. But he's trying to do it now round that turn 2. Can't quite make it, but he's all over the back. And he's alongside now Marcel Droning as they're coming round 5 down to 6. He's going to look to try and take the inside if he can into turn 6, and he might be able to do a double overtake and actually take the Toro Rosso as well. Oh, but look at this! He's so busy with the Toro Rosso that he's given Marcel Droning the opportunity in the Renault to move ahead of him again. So real fight going on here for P10 to 7. Stan Drumkov, Peter Phillips going wide there. Marcel France has dropped that to P10. But Bas de Breen now putting the pressure on Marcel Droning. But this rain is now starting to get considerably heavier. Who's retired? Boy Williamson. Boy Williamson is out. Boy Williamson has clearly crashed somewhere around the track and he is out. So the Haas driver, Boy Williamson, out of this race. Unfortunately, we can't go back to see where that occurred.
Yeah,
Bas de Breen now all over the back of this Renault. Sorry, Guido, you were saying?
Sorry about that. No, I think it happened in the last corner somewhere.
Oh, dearie me! And Bas de Breen goes off! He spun it off the track.
He's still alive. He's
still living, but he's taken out his nose. Really starting to come down now, and I think these guys are going to have to look to go on to intermediates pretty soon. Martin Paardekoper, he's closing in on the back of Mark Stappers, and that's for 3rd place. He takes him. Yes, he does. Into turn 6, Martin Paardekoper in the Red Bull takes Mark Stappers, so takes 3rd place.
But it looks like he's trying to torpedo the Haas there.
Well, his teammate Jerome Portman has gone through, but he's clearly having issues, Marcel France, there with traction. So traction is starting to be an issue for Marcel France. Without doubt, Nicky Visser is into the pit. Stan Drumkov is obviously looking to get the cut now because he's stayed out on track. So Stan Drumkov is hoping to get the cut on Nicky Visser, who's in the pits. An interesting
Everybody's
choice.
on the intermediates, and looks in my list, but I can't really see because it's really, really small. But yeah, there's Marcel France on the full wets. That's going to be definitely an interesting choice because he's probably not going to be able to get some grip on those tires.
He's not going to be able to get any traction. That is a bad move, I think, from Marcel France.
So
yeah, Jerome Portman spinning in turn 15. Clearly, he's going to be coming in. Oh, no, he's not. He's staying out. Oh, well, of course, he's on the intermediates. So Jerome Portman spun on 15, and Bas de Breen, well, he's really suffered. He's down in P10 at this moment in time. I'm sure he'll be able to get his way through the field.
That was the end of France.
France. Marcel France is off
on his own. I was on board, and he just lost it. He didn't have the grip.
So those wets did him absolutely no favours at all. But the sad thing is that I think we're probably going to see the drivers coming into pit onto those wets.
Yeah, he might take the advantage over that again if they're fighting, just as he did before on the Ferrari.
It's very often worthwhile just to sit in the background, see what happens. Bas de Breen picks up a 3-second time penalty, not what he wanted. Oh, and he's going wide there.
I don't know, you know, if you're
No,
on,
there's
if
still a
you,
racing line there. There is still a drier
exactly.
racing line.
If you see the
So he might
onboard
not. He might well
cameras,
stay out and go offline out the corners. But Stan Drumkov is definitely sliding far more than Nicky Visser.
he's
Nicky
struggling.
is looking quite comfortable at the moment, I think.
He drives comfortably as well. Goes a bit wide, but you know, in the end he drives relaxed and in control. Oh, second, please. Sander Hermans went off.
Oh dear. So Sander Hermans, let's have a quick look, see if we can catch up to that.
He's going in.
He's into the pits. Sander Hermans is into the pits. So he's clearly not comfortable. Narrowly avoids the wall as he's coming into the pit, putting 4 points ahead of Seb Bogart in the championship. But he's into the pits now, so Damien Hartman comes into the pits. He'll be looking to go onto wets. So see how he's dealing with these conditions, and that racing line is starting to definitely get a lot wetter now. Just watching down into turn 6. Early braking, obviously, to maintain control, nice and easy around that turn. Good acceleration out has come in. What's he going to do? Now he comes in. So Stan Drumkov comes in. Martin Paardekooper now coming round.
Oh,
He's still a way behind these guys. He's just coming into sector 3 now. So Martin Paardekooper is on the wets, but he isn't going to be able to get any sort of cut on Nicky Visser as he's coming out onto track, and Stan Drumkov as well. So they will maintain that first and second place. So everything pretty much settled down. We've lost, unfortunately, 4 drivers this evening. Marcel France, Jerome Portmer. Oh, Bassey's coming into the pit. Oh, look at that! No, Peter Phillips smashes out. We caught that on camera. Peter Phillips crashes out. Oh, I think there's a bit of contact there with him and Marco Pullen actually just now, because Marco Pullen just got, I'm not too sure if there was contact or whether Mark just went offline there. But Marco Pullen takes the place for him, so Marco Pullen for Sauber moves up in 6th place. Race now. This is F1 tonight. Season 4, race 11 here at the Hockenheim Ring. Started in the dry, but we've gone to wet conditions. Intermediates and now on to full wets. We are expecting this to dry up a bit, aren't we? Again. Safety car is out, I'm not too sure why.
What happened there?
I think it could be the race conditions. Nobody's gone off track that I can see.
There's so much puddles.
It is, because it is really coming down very, very heavily now. And I think that's what we're seeing, is the safety car coming out due to the conditions. You can see here on this camera, very low visibility. So Nicky Visser coming round the place, so he'd only pick up 2 points. That'll put him on 96. Nicky Visser would then move up into 3rd place with 102. Damien Hartman, who's currently in 4th place, well, he'd pick up 12 points. That would put him in the lead of the championship. Safety car is in. Yep, so we are back to race conditions. So the rain has started to ease off a little bit, but Nicky Visser now, he's in that 1st place. Safety car is in. Stan Drumkov is only 6/10 off the back of him, but look at Martin Paardekooper. He's there as well, as is Damien Hartman, Marcel Dronig, and Marco Pullen. John Donkel just behind them, Basta Breen as well, so it really has bunched up the whole pack now. To Basta Breen, he's moved up to 6th place. He's right up behind these top 5 drivers, so this really has helped him tremendously. And on full race, so again, do remember this is F1 tonight. This is season 4, race 11. And we are one of the very few leagues, I don't think there are too many, that actually race full. Sorry, just to quickly mention here, this Marco Pullen has actually come into the pits and gone on to intermediates.
Really? It's drier than it was before.
So this is, oh, look at this, Damie Hartman going in deep, trying to make the move on Stan Drumkov in that third sector, goes in too deep, but maintains that fourth place. But Bas de Breen, he's moved up into fifth place now, and he's now zoning in on Damie Hartman. And if Damie continues to make those mistakes, I'm Martin Paardekoper coming into the pits. Damie Hartman sliding into the pits, but Bas stays out. Bas can see an opportunity here, and he is going to take full advantage of it, because he will take the lead of this race. And now he really needs to get that Ferrari engine working. And well, Nicky Visser, he's now out on track. He's P2. Marco Pullen, yeah, he needs to stay out for another couple of laps on those wets if he's going to take advantage of it. And he comes in. Yeah, it's too much. He comes in. So Bas de Breen is in now. Nicky Visser just coming round the final turn. So Nicky will take P1 back. Marco Pullen will move up, just under 4 seconds behind Martin Paardekoper in third. Damie Hartman is just trying to fight here with Bas de Breen. Oh, this is close between these two now. As they're coming into the third sector, and Damie does stay ahead of Bas. So Bas did come out P6, as I thought. But, he's looking to fight his way through. He's got the pass of Damie Hartman and Stan Drumkov ahead of him, but Damie closing in on that Mercedes. So again, yep, and that's Stan Drumkov into the pits now. So Damie Hartman, Bas de Breen, these guys battling it out. John Donkel now starting to close on the back of them as Damie came in. So the question now is, can Martin Paardekoper make that move on Marco Pullen, or is Damie Hartman sitting in the background there going to take advantage of those guys if they start fighting? Damie still on the back of that Red Bull, and that Red Bull still on the back of that Sauber. Well, we've got 16 laps. Can those intermediates effectively go 27 laps? Is the question. No. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Oh, sorry. Martin Paardekoper making the move out of turn 6 now on Marco Pullen. Drives Marco Pullen wide, and that means that Damie Hartman is now only a 10th off the back of that Sauber. So Martin Paardekoper makes the move in turn 6 on the Sauber of Marco Pullen, takes second place, but Damie Hartman now is all over the back of that Sauber as well. But Marco Pullen not giving up. He's Damie Hartman going wide there. So coming into the
tires will, yeah, it will ruin the tires, and you know,
Damie Hartman now making the move again. He's going deep, loses it in turn 6, tries to make the move on Marco Pullen, goes in far too deep, comes off losing on that one. Look out for him, but you can see Bas de Breen, look, closing in on the background here. He's only 1.9 seconds off the back of Damie Hartman. Line drying up a little bit more. It is obviously still intermediate. Still intermediate condition, but look at that, Damie Hartman trying to make the move here. He's alongside Marco Pullen, gets out ahead of him. Can he make it stick in turn 6 again? No, yeah, Marco has the advantage on that inside line, but Damie is pulling out now, trying to see if he can take him round turn 7. Does make the move, nicely done into turn 7. Can he make it stick round 8 now? Yes, he does. Great move there. Zoning in now on the back of that Damie Hartman not giving up the fight. He's still trying to close down Martin Paardenkoeper. And as I say, the one that's winning from this, and he's led more or less from the start after he made an early overtake on Bas de Breen, who didn't seem to be too comfortable on those ultra softs at the beginning of the race. Nicky Visser, already. But Guido, if you could just check on any penalties that haven't been applied as yet, because I think they will come into play at the close of this race.
I don't know if Damie's got about 9 seconds already, what I'm looking at.
So Damie has another 9 seconds potentially to add. Oh dear, and there's debris there on turn 6. I'm not too sure if that will come into play. It hasn't cleared as yet. So Damie will certainly have a 9-second time penalty to apply, and that's going to totally ruin his race, and it's going to move Bas up into 3rd place.
Yeah, Bas got a penalty as well.
Has he just got the one? And that's a great result from him, because he's really not had the best of races. And Damie Hartman closing in more and more on the back of Martin Paardenkoeper. Now,
but that's going to be 3 seconds, and the rest is clean.
So if Marco can close down that gap to under 3 seconds to Bas de Breen before the close of this race, and they stay in this order, that means that Marco would take 3rd place on the podium.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. Lost a few of the winglets there on the right side of his front wing, so that is not going to help him at all with his downforce, certainly into those left-handers. And this is...
I have to mention, because in the middle of the competition we had a safety car situation due to the due to the weather conditions. It was raining
we were
so
talking about
hard.
We were talking about that, and it was like we checked it on a forum, and they were supposed to have that as well on F1 2017. And obviously, when it rains too hard, it's
Sorry
just,
guys,
you know,
I'm just going to interject here because Bas de Breen has just made the move on Damie Hartman into turn 6.
And
so
then he gets
Bas
a
de
penalty
Breen,
again.
yeah, so he's now got 12 seconds worth of penalties. If he picks up another one, he will be... He's got 2 laps where he needs to catch up to that Red Bull and potentially take 2nd place on the podium. Very, very important to Bas for the championship, these points. He's got 1 lap remaining now. Don't think he's going to be able to do it unless Martin Paardenkoeper makes a mistake on track. I think
Stan is within a second of Marco.
He is got down to under a second, and I apologise, John, because I didn't think he was going to be able to close down that gap, and Marco must have made an error, surely. But to take 3 seconds out on that lap, that was amazing. Final lap of the race. Martin Paardenkoeper still in 2nd place, but Bas de Breen only 1.5 seconds off the back of him.
Damie will drop down to 7th place. Because
he will.
Marshall's also within range.
How
many penalties Marshall has.
Stan Jonkov still bearing down on the back of that Sauber of Marco Pullen. He is wholeheartedly breathing in the exhaust fumes from that Sauber. Marco going defensive. Oh, dearie me. Stan just misjudges it.
Bas is within a second.
Damage to his front. Needs to make that move if he possibly can on Martin Paardenkoeper.
Stay alive.
But Nicky Visser now comes across the line to finish this German Grand Prix, takes 1st place. Great result there from the Sauber driver. Marco Pullen comes round turn 16. He will take P2. Bas de Breen for Ferrari takes P3.
Oh, he's
Marco
without
Pullen for Red Bull, Bastabreen third for Ferrari, Marco Pullen for Sauber 4, Stan Drumkoff for Mercedes 5, Marcel Dronig for Renault 6, Damie Hartman for Haas 7, and Mark Stappers for McLaren 8.